Welcome to my pre-algebra class. We're on chapter 10, section 3. We're going to be finding the area of different polygons. Starting with the area of a rectangle. When we find area, we're trying to find the amount of square units inside the shape. So if I had this rectangle and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 squares across and 2 down, then the total number of squares in here, if I count them all, would be 14. And the easier way to do this is to take the length, which is 7, times the height, which is 2, and get 14. This 7 can be considered the length. It could also be considered the base, and 2 is the width or the height. And we get those words base and height from the fact that a right angle is formed in a rectangle here. So this would be the base and this would be the height. So length times width. The area of a square is a special rectangle, and we basically take length times width or base times height. But in this case, in the square, the sides are the same, so we can just say a short formula, side times side, or 2 squared, which is 4, 2 times 2. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. The 9 is the base, and the 4 is the height because it makes that right angle. And it looks identical to the formula for the area of a rectangle, because basically I could take this triangle and put it over here and I would have a rectangle. So we still use the same formula that we do for a rectangle, base times height. So the area of this shape would be 4 times 9, or 36 square units. These are all square units, because we're counting how many squares are inside the shape. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. If you take any triangle, you can draw a height to a base. So the height is 3 here and the base is 5. The two things make the right angle. And it looks like the formula for the area of a rectangle, but half of it. And the reason for that is that if you take a triangle and rotate it, copy it and rotate it and sit it next to itself, you get a parallelogram. So a triangle is exactly half of a parallelogram made from it. So in this case, it'd be 1/2 of 3 times 5, which would be 15 halves, or 7 1/2 square units. And the last shape was not on your vocabulary. I put it in your notebooks because you're going to need it. It's the area of a trapezoid, and it's 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. Those are the two sides that are parallel in the trapezoid, times the height. So the height makes a right angle with this base. And again, it looks very similar to that of a triangle's formula, except we got 2 bases here. So that must mean that the trapezoid, if I duplicate it and turn it, must make a parallelogram. And it does. And the base, the height is the same, but the base, actual whole base of this new parallelogram is this base, base 2 plus base 1. That's the whole length of the base, and that's where they get this. So a trapezoid is basically half of a parallelogram again. So if I put in numbers, if the height was 10 and base 1 was 5 and base 2 was 12, then my formula would be 1/2 the sum of the two bases, 5 plus 12, times the height, which is 10. And I could take half of 10, which is 5. 5 plus 12 is 17 times 5, which would give me 85 square units. Okay. That concludes the explanation for this section. Turn to page 448. Head your paper, skip a line, and we're starting with the guided practice number 2 on 447 actually. It says make a sketch of each figure, a triangle with a base 15 and a height of 1 foot. So the base is 15 inches and the height is 1 foot. Problem number 4, make a sketch of a square with a side that measures t inches. So draw a square and a side that measures t inches. Problem number 6, find the area of each figure. Number 6 is a triangle. You are, for every problem that you have to find the area, write the formula down. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Then you're going to substitute in the information. You're looking for area. It's 1/2 the base, and we can see the base is going to be 3. And the height is 5. Those are the two sides that make the right angle. So 1/2 of 15 equals 7.5, and the unit is meters squared. Remember, these are all square units. You're finding how many little squares are inside the shape. And problem number 8, find the height of a triangle with an area of 36 feet squared and a base of 8. Use your area formula, write it down. Area equals 1/2 base times height. They gave us the area is 36, so we substitute A with 36. They give us the base is 8, but we don't know the height. So take 1/2 of 8, which is 4. So we get 36 equals 4h. Use your algebra, divide by 4, and we find out that the height is 9. The exercises 1 through 10, and then 17 through 20. Number 2, find the area of each figure. Number 2, since the two sides are different, we have a rectangle, so area equals base times height. And the base is 7 and the height is 5.9 since they make a right angle. You can use your calculator on these problems. So we have 5.9 times 7, which gives us an area of 41.3. And the unit is centimeters squared. And checking the answers on this, they either give the answers as mixed numbers or rounded to the nearest tenth, I believe. Problem number 4 is a triangle. The formula is area equals 1/2 base times height. Be sure you put the formulas down for each one. And we have the base and the height are made outside, but they're still the base and the height. We have 40 centimeters as our base, and our height is 0.5. So that, take 1/2 of 40 is 20. 20 times 0.5 is Whoops, I gotta go back. I just realized something. They're different units. We have to get the same units. So it's 1/2, and we have 0.5 meters, which is actually, if we're changing it centimeters, would be move it 2 to the right, would give us 0.5 meters. If we go meters, decimeters, centimeters, we have to go 2 to the right. So this is 50 centimeters. So it's 1/2 times the base 40 times 50. Okay, 1/2 of 40 is 20. 20 times 50 is 1,000 centimeters squared. Problem number 6. We have a parallelogram, area equals base times height, the two sides that make the right angle. So the base in that parallelogram is 8, and the height is 5. Find the right angle, the little square, and you have it. And that's going to be 40 yards squared. Problem number 8. Find the area of a parallelogram with a height of 1 1/3 yards and a base of 2 1/2 feet. So again, we have different units, and we're going to have to convert them. So let's change yards into feet. So 1 1/3 yards would be 4 feet. 1 yard has 3 feet, and 1/3 would be 1 foot, so it's 4 feet. So our area formula for a parallelogram is base times height. So we're going to take 4 times, and our base is 4 is our height, and our base is 2 1/2 feet, or 2.5. So 4 times 2.5 is going to be 10. So the area is 10 square units, in this case 10 feet squared. And problem number 10 asks us which of the playing fields has the greatest area. So you need to turn back to 434. And we really don't want to do all of these. We know it's length times width. So if we go through it, the biggest ones, look for the yards. The biggest length is 300 yards, and the biggest width is 200 yards, so it has to be the polo field. And then numbers 17 through 20. Number 18, find the area of the trapezoid. Write the formula down. It's 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. And base 1, it doesn't matter which one you use, as base 1 is 11, and base 2 is 5. Remember, they make the long base when you duplicate it and flip it over. Times the height, which is 3 1/4. And we can use 3.25. So that's 1/2 of 16 times 3.25. So that'd be 8 times 3.25. And we get 26. So it's 26 feet squared. And problem number 20. Wall-to-wall carpeting costs $28.50 per square yard, including installation. How much does it cost to carpet this room? Okay, the room that they're talking about is the family room, and it's 12 feet by 15 feet. So first we need to find the area. So area equals base times height, or length times width. So it's 12 times 15, and 12 times 15 is 180. So it's 180 square feet. And the cost is per square yard. So maybe we need to go back and change those into yards. We could also figure out how many square feet are in a square yard. But we'll go back and change it to yards. I think it might be a little bit easier. So we have 12 feet by 15 feet, and we know that 3 feet make a yard. So if we divide this by 3, that's 4 yards, and this by 3, that's 5 yards. So we can use 4 times 5, which is 20 square yards. And each of those square yards costs $28.50, so 20 times $28.50. Our cost is $570. That concludes the evens. Be sure to check the back of the book for the answers to the odds.